All right, so this is blog number 1, creating positive learning environments. Start from the beginning. So as kids walk in, I usually stand at the door, and one by one I'll either give them a high five or fist bump, and they'll go ahead and sit down. So when they sit down, they'll see the agenda for the day. So they'll have the agenda, and then for whatever we're going over, they'll have an objective and then homework for that night. Or maybe it's later in the week, like a quiz. So I put a quiz on Tuesday, on Friday, so they have time to prepare and they know it's on Tuesday. So what they'll do is usually sit down, and I place these desks this way, so it's a pair, and then there are 4 rows, and so I placed them this way just because there's a lot of English language learners in my class, especially the first class, 7th grade. So I paired those that speak fluently in Spanish with those that have kind of trouble speaking English. So I told them if it was all right if they'd help me out, and basically they can talk when they need to talk, especially if that English learner does not understand what is going on and they need help on the reading or whatever it may be. And then they can also work in pairs of 4 very easily by just turning around. So we work in pairs a lot, so that's why I kind of did these desks like that as well, and it's easier for them to be in bigger groups. And then there's also a bigger table in the back, which is kind of just so they can space out, so they're not always in the same exact seats if we're working in pairs, and I tell them move around. Just makes it nicer for them just to not stay in the same exact seats all the time. So at the beginning of the year, since this is a Catholic school, I created these little crosses, and they kind of just filled them in the way they wanted to. I kind of gave them very vague instructions, being just create the cross how you think it represents their life the most. And then they also have, at the beginning of the year, these soccer balls, so they created 3 goals, and then went with our goals and then soccer, like scoring a goal. So the 3 goals were a personal goal, an academic goal, and then a physical goal, because I also teach PE, so I kind of got that in there as well. And then they have the expectations on the door over there for basically the school rules, and then just a message over there, exercise daily walk with God. Again, another kind of play on words with PE, but also being a Catholic school. And then we do reading, usually every other day. We'll read for about 10 or 15 minutes in class. And if they don't have their own book, I kind of have this selection for them. And some of them are below grade level, just so those that aren't reading at grade level have something to read. But most of them are at 6th, 7th, and 8th grade level. And then we have our religion books, and then lined paper if they need that. And then I kind of put this thing over here saying, let's make history. Just looks kind of cool, and I'll probably post up whatever their next project is on that paper. It's kind of cool. And then I also have these 5 computers, so when they're done, finish something early, because I do have a few kids that are always done way earlier than the rest. I either tell them to read, or they can jump on the computers and get ahead on whatever work they have for that night or that week. And then these are also some projects they did for religion this past week that I'll probably post up. And then I kind of put myself in the classroom as well. So I have like a little basketball hoop, and we play a study game where they'll use that. And then I have my desk in the back. I'm usually never there, but it just kind of, it's more out of the way, but also it's at their backs, so I can still look. And if I am sitting there, I am able to just kind of watch over during a test. But then when I'm not, I'm usually walking around, which makes it, this seating also makes it easier because I can go in between and kind of just look over and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, make sure they're doing it right, and if they need help, I can get around easily to whoever needs help. That's about it.